Hello, this is Daniel Raymond, the voice behind Ray's Guide. I'm continuing with my deeper analysis of the CitizenCon presentations, and in this case, I'm going to talk about something that wasn't part of any presentation, but which I can see is enabled by bits and pieces of other presentations, particularly the ones about specialist clothing and guilds. And that, as you're unlikely to guess, is the subject of finally having a character creator worthy of an MMO. Now, you might say we have a fantastic character creator in the persistent universe. No, we have a fantastic face creator. Certainly the finest face creator ever made for a game. But a face is only the start of a character. You can bet that when they brought in Gary Oldman to play Admiral Bishop, they didn't say, "Okay, Mr. Oldman, here's a picture of what your character will look like. Here's a script, let's get started." No, they would have given him, at a minimum, a full-page description in great detail about Admiral Bishop and his background and motivations. Mr. Oldman undoubtedly would have been insulted with anything less to work with. And perhaps the reason why Squadron has concentrated on just the face creation is that the description of our character is already evident in the first minute of the introduction. We're playing a crew member on a ship who has dreams of being a pilot. They are recognized by the captain because it isn't that large of a ship, but otherwise they are a bit odd and awkward around them. We know that because they knew that. And interestingly, the actor who did the performance capture of our character did so without any idea of what their character would look like in the end on our computer screens. An interesting acting challenge, is it not? But in the PU, we are presumed to be the great-great-grandchild of our Squadron 42 characters and are much more varied in our past before the game and our past forward. And being able to be a bit more specific about who we are and where we came from is a proven technique to be more engaged with our role in the game. In addition, if we do get the guest play feature for our extra game accounts, then having a half-page summation of what is behind how your character ticks is handy for those who care to know. So let me start with my criteria for what makes a good character creator, which may circumvent some of the likely complaints that you're already having based on bad character creators in other games. First, a character creator should be fast. If you can't rush through it in less than a minute, it is too complicated. Of course, you can take longer and are welcome to take longer, but you shouldn't have to. Next, the character creator should in no way be restrictive in what you can do in the game. It shouldn't unlock any content based on what you say, and it should not block any content based on what you don't say. There can be differences based on what you choose in the character creator, but they should be things easily achieved in the game anyway. If there are changes in reaction or dialogue based on your character creator, it shouldn't be obvious or ham-handed. For example, in Starfield, your selection affects the first line of dialogue that is said to you, and then pretty much is never heard from again. Instead, any reaction changes to you based on your character creator should be rare and surprising, almost like Easter eggs. You should never know when a reference to your past might come up, and it is a surprise when it does. I'm also going to suggest a technique that is going to do a little more to use the inputs from the character creator system to make them less like the Mad Libs fill-in-the-blank methods that they are typically used for. So let's start with the air character. We know that under Death of a Spaceman, we will have to have a named air character, and you may have noted that at the start of the Squadron 42 demonstration at CitizenCon. So let's add a couple items. What is their relation, and how close are you? Each is a list of choices with a default, so you don't really have to, with a default if you don't really care, and a fill-in option in case you have a specific idea. And of course, we know the character's home city. We have to specify that, and that also gives us the planet they are from. So let's build a few more simple questions. What has your character been doing most of their life before? These have a one-to-one alignment with the major guilds, so there isn't a fill-in-your-own option. But it is intended to get the new players to think in terms of the major directions available to them in the game. But again, no limits, no restrictions on what you can do in the future. But part of the premise of the game, particularly for players who have only bought a starter package, is that we're just getting on with our careers. So let's ask why you've been away. And let's, for that, also have the option for freeform entry. And then let's have two more very general but very useful questions. How fundamentally do you regard your character? Are they a hero, comedic, scoundrel, or villain? And is their ultimate motive wealth, adventure, power, or discovery? So with these data points, we could just fill in the blanks if we're a narrative, Mad Lib style. So, for example, a heroic character from Lorville on Hurston who hauled cargo in the past but is returning from a term in the Navy and is interested now in earning a fortune. Their best friend Arnold is their heir, although they haven't seen them in years. But then take that with a few words in the front, like write a 200-word character profile of, and then pass it to a generative AI like ChatGPT, and you get, Jax Torman is a rugged and resourceful individual with a past steeped in hard labor and military service. Born and raised in the industrial heart of Lorville, Jack spent years hauling cargo across the hazardous landscapes of Hurston, building a reputation for reliability and grit. However, after enlisting in the Navies, Jack's life took a more disciplined turn. Years spent navigating the dangerous blackness of space as a soldier have left their mark, sharpening both body and mind. Now, after completing their term, Jax has returned to the bustling city of Lorville, eager to leave behind the mundane and pursue a fortune. While Jax is no stranger to hardship, part of him still carries the weight of the past. Their estranged best friend Arnold. Arnold, now presumed to be heir to Jack's potential wealth, was once their closest companion, but time and distance have created an emotional gap. Though they haven't seen Arnold's in years, Jax remains determined to carve out a legacy, one that might one day allow them to reconnect with their old friend, if only fate will allow it. Now, change a few parameters, and you get Vinny Slicktower as a charismatic, if slightly disreputable figure with a knack for getting himself into and out of trouble. Originally from the bright, bustling city of Orison on Crusader, Vinny spent much of his life hauling cargo across the star systems, always with a joke at the ready and a wide grin plastered on his face. That is, until a series of questionable decisions landed him in Klesher Prison, a place where Vinny learned as much about escape artistry as he did about the harshness of space law. After serving his time, Vinny returned to Orison with a new sense of purpose, to explore the unknown and see more of the galaxy. While his plans are grand and filled with excitement, they often come with comedic missteps, whether it's getting lost in an upscale mall or misunderstanding alien customs. Despite his blunders, Vinny remains endearing and optimistic. There is one constant in Vinny's life, and that is his son Arnold. Every week they meet for lunch in Orison's floating gardens. While Arnold is the serious, steady type, Vinny's wild stories and irrepressible sense of humor keep their bond strong, something Vinny is deeply grateful for, even if he can't always show it. Great literature? No, and if you want to, go ahead and completely rewrite it, but it beats the writer's block of starting with a big blank text entry field. The same technique can also be used in other game situations. So, for example, write a 200-word message from a science fiction attorney to Arnold that his former best friend Jax, who hasn't seen in years, has passed away and bequeathed to him 1,500,000 credits and 12 ships, including a Hercules C-2, a Retaliator bomber, and a Vulture salvage ship. And you get, Dear Arnold, I hope this message finds you well. My name is Mylan Creel, and I am writing to inform you the passage of your former best friend Jax Torman. It is with heavy heart that I convey the news those Jack's wishes have been made clear in their final will, and I am here to ensure that everything is handled according to their instructions. Jax left behind a considerable inheritance, the details of which are outlined in the attached documents. The estate included a sum of 1,500,000 credits, as well as a collection of 12 ships, which Jack has bequeathed to you as their heir. The fleet comprises a Hercules C-2, a Retaliator bomber, and a Vulture salvage ship, and other vessels that are detailed in the attached inventory list. I understand that you and Jack were once close, although time and distance may have created some space between you both. I trust this inheritance will provide you the opportunity to reflect on your past and perhaps take up the legacy Jack had hoped to build. If you wish to proceed with the formalities, please contact my office at your earliest convenience. Sincerely, Mylan Creel, Creel & Associates Legal Counsel. This is where I think the current generation of text-generative AI can enhance a game like Star Citizen, by providing depth and a variety of messages and descriptions. This can also, for example, add variety to mission descriptions. Randomize a variable such as description length, and you get very different sets of results. So returning to the main topic of the character creator, what is the practical effect of completing the character creator? What do you get? Well, that is where that ties back to the specialist armor and guild reputation. First, you get, based on the answer to what you did before, you get a combination of gear. So, for example, if you said your prior life was hauling, you might get included a max lift tractor rifle, which if you're hauling the game is going to be one of your very first purchases anyway. In each case, though, the total retail value of the gear package is the same, say 20,000 UEC. So the only real advantage to one over the other depends on what you value to do going forward, rather than there being some obvious better one than the other. And again, no path is locked or unlocked. The other thing that you get is a bonus reputation, say 20%, on your first 5 missions with the matching guild. So again, nothing unlocked, nothing blocked, just a chance to get a little bit ahead, to start on what you already wanted in the game by choosing what your past was, and a bit of spice and variety added by the generative AI text. So now for an update on our giveaways, we have the Raise Captain's giveaway for a pair of VKB Space Combat Edition joysticks, plus our regular Grow the Channel Ship giveaway for the Zippy Zazzy Zaftig Zephyr, the Zeus 2 cargo, now in the game and for which we are just 54 more subs before releasing the goal. And then beyond that, the 20,000 subscriber reward of the winner's choice of the marvelous multi-role mining meta, the Arasto, or the Banu Big Box Bargain Bazaar, the Merchantman. One entry per video, be a member for automatic entry, or subscribe and comment somewhere including the secret word. And the secret word for this video is the part of the character creator system that will be required by Death of a Spaceman. Fly safe, keep it real, and I'll see you in the verse. This is Daniel Raymond for Ray's Guide.